Welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Podcast. We have our special guest here, but before we get to him, I'm going to let my co-host introduce himself.
I'm Mike Witzak. That was decent. You did all right. Anyway, who's in the
I
middle
don't
here?
think I said did I say my name?
You didn't say your name.
I'm Rory Farrell, and our host here. This is why Mike does the intros.
All right, anyway, you want me to do this one?
Yeah,
Here we
you
go.
start over.
Welcome back to the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. I'm Mike Witzak. The guy giggling on the end there uncontrollably is Rory Farrell. And we have our first return guest on the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour. Who is this guy?
I'm Tom Hendel from Keller Williams.
Amen, brother.
Keller Williams, Bluebell, local legend over here.
Dude, 2 times. This is going to be like Joe Rogan when people are like, I've been on here 10 times. This is legendary. We'll be like, yeah, you've been on the Marathon Mortgage Happy Hour twice now. This is first.
It's an honor.
Yeah, for sure. Dude.
I mean,
Glad to have you.
percentage-wise, that's a good percentage of our episodes compared to like Rogan guests who have been on for 10 times.
Yeah, it's over 2%, so nice. But anyway, thanks for coming back, Tom, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, one of our favorite realtors, honestly.
Appreciate that.
We actually just recently, we had a client appreciation, I guess like, what you organized the whole thing. We kind of just showed up and had fun. So if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so we had a client appreciation party at Bill's Best Brewery in Glenside. Had a very good year in real estate, so I wanted to thank the people that helped that happen with all my clients.
And celebrate.
Yes, celebrate with some very good beers, food truck, and Marathon Mortgage was a sponsor of that. Huge part of my real estate business. Aaron Abstract also, great title company. So great event. We had about 80 people there, I believe, and the food truck was pretty good.
Yeah, it was packed, and I didn't realize when I walked in that it was just your clients, and like I figured like maybe half of them, and then the other half, like there was a lot of people there.
Oh yeah. Well, if we're gonna be honest, there were a couple people that crashed that party.
I did see a couple come in, but that was like towards the end, at least the ones that I saw come in.
No, there was someone from the beginning. They sat down at a table and they were having drinks. It was a couple, and like I was staring at them. I'm like, did they refer me business? Did I forget my clients? I'm like, I know all my clients.
These people are like
so like I saw them ordering beer. I'm like, all right, well, they can have a beer. And then I saw them walking up to the food truck and they start grabbing all this food. I was like, all right, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm Tom Hendel. Nice to meet you. And they're like, so what?
Like, get away, weirdo.
Yeah.
I'm like, this brewery's awesome. Everything's free here. This is great.
Exactly.
They didn't ask me for a credit card or anything.
Yeah.
I explained to them that it was a client appreciation party and they felt really bad. And I was like, no, listen, set up a tab with the bartender. Feel free to stay. There's more than enough room. And so they were very thankful. And the funny thing was they actually were coming from a showing in Glenside.
I was just going to say, like, you could flip that into an opportunity.
I absolutely thought about it. Yeah. But they were already working with a realtor and they actually saw a property that I was going to take clients to. So I was like, it's not a good hook.
Yeah. But remember for the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
But,
and Tom never comes empty-handed. Tom's a beer guy.
So we started talking about breweries.
That's why I was like, but we don't have a beer. I was like, hold on a
starting
second.
this podcast dry over here.
There we go. I brought Corona for Mike.
Nice, thank you. I mean, we should mention that you were a big beer guy and big local beer guy. So we will let you take the reins a little bit today.
Okay, perfect. So this is a Saison. I'm not going to pretend that I know what a Saison really is. It's kind of a sourish beer.
It uses a different kind of yeast. Like the Saison yeast is a little bit grassier, a little bit more weedy, and it's traditionally like a French type of beer that was drank by French farmers, and it was meant to be drank during a specific season, whether that be harvesting or whatever. But it's meant to be light, refreshing. Obviously it's got alcohol in it, so it's not going to hydrate you, but that was kind of the thought behind Saisons.
Okay.
So it's going to have a little fruitiness, a little floral. They often are like lemony or maybe orangey. So
that's exactly how I was going to describe it.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
So this is called Cloud of the Unknowing. So I picked this up at Giuliano's in Glenside.
Okay.
I have a listing in Glenside going active Thursday. So I was there yesterday and I was like, Giuliano's is, always has the best breweries, all their different beers. So stopped in there. I thought this would be a good one. So you doing the honors?
Yeah, sure, man. I'll do it.
And it's, to be mentioned, Forest and Maine out of Ambler.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Forest
Forest
got to shout out them too.
Absolutely.
One of our favorites. Have you been to their new
So
space?
it's funny.
Their new space? I don't know.
I've tried so many of Forest and Maine's beers, and I've never been to their brewery. It's on my list. Like whenever I
so
see it in the
close.
store, I know I go buy the beer, and but I've never been to the brewery. But I'm actually in charge of the happy hours for my office with all the other realtors. So I am going to bring it up that Forest and Maine is our next spot that we'll be going.
They're
to.
awesome. I think they just celebrated their like 12th anniversary.
Oh wow!
They've been around for a long time. They had a very cool little like cottagey house on Forest and Maine. They've moved on since then to right on the corner of Butler and I can't remember the cross street, but it's 2 blocks up. Whatever.
Okay.
So now it's right on Butler. Again, like a lot of character to the space, and then they opened up like more of like a warehousey industrial spot that's bigger and kind of more open, and the garage.
Have we been there or something? Or did you? Where was your dad's retirement party?
No, that was at 10-7 in North
Gotcha.
Wales. Similar vibe though, like garage.
But we've
doors
definitely
and
had Forest and Maine on the pod.
Oh,
before.
tons of time. One of my
All right.
favorites. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much. We often don't do. I don't know if we've ever done a saison.
Oh, here's a
Kind of
first.
smells like a sandwich almost.
Maybe because of the wheat.
Yeah.
Maybe the grassiness. Gonna have a lot of lemony.
Mike also did eat a sandwich before the podcast,
Yes.
so he might be.
I'm not
smelling
He's
even-
that.
also simultaneously sipping on the
I have
which
I have
can't be good.
Coke Zero. I have a water and my phone and unknown substances over here.
That sounds like we're doing hard drugs.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
drugs, legal nicotine.
Mike's gonna start talking a lot.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be yeah. Forget about Tom, guys.
But that's excellent. Really,
Yeah.
like
You
nice.
like that?
I do actually. I like it a lot.
All right, good.
Light,
I
refreshing.
thought I was not going to bring like a strong IPA for
Thank God.
Mike's sake.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We also just did another podcast right before this where I had that same thought. I'm like, I'm gonna get something on the lower ABV scale.
Yeah, it's always your parents now. You're just looking out for the children.
Exactly.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
yeah. All of a sudden, we're responsible parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
This would have been a different podcast like 10 years ago for me.
Oh, for sure.
And certainly 10 years ago for you.
We would have been,
would have been
10 years. For me, 10 years ago, I would have been 15. I would have been a freshman in high school being like, yeah, what am I doing here?
You get dropped off by his mom.
Yeah, 100%. I'd have to get a ride here.
Bye, Mrs. Whitsack.
Yeah.
We'll take care of us.
See ya.
I'm Mortgage Mike.
But no, so to be more serious now, prior to the podcast, we kind of talked about a few things that you wanted to touch on and kind of explain to the viewers a little bit about like why it's so important to you to have good referral partners, good people to work with, and kind of how it makes your life a lot easier. And I think you wanted to even ask us some questions on that. So
Oh, absolutely. So every aspect of real estate, clients are always going to their realtors and asking for referrals. And, it's so important to give them somebody that's going to give them the level of service that I think they deserve.
Sure.
And, it starts with the lenders, with you guys, and, it's just the level of service and the knowledge that I know my clients are getting from you guys. It's just night and day from what I see out there. And then even, title's so important, homeowners insurance. And then even after they get the home, they're always coming to me for contractors. And like, luckily for me, I grew up with a lot of very good contractors and I met a lot throughout my career. And it's just very, very important. And, that's something I always think about, like, the lenders don't get the credit they deserve.
Thank you. We say that all the time.
Exactly. It's true. like, everyone, oh, my realtor. I'm like, you have no idea that it starts with the lenders every time. And like, I actually am interested myself. Like, what do you think separates you guys from other companies? Because I see it, but like, I'd like my clients to know, like, what do you think is the strong points?
yeah, I mean, I think it's when I first started in this business, I think one of the things I realized was like, we're kind of the guys in the shadows. Like, I didn't know what you talk about this all the time, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I was like, I know what a mortgage is, kind of. I was like, but like, I could learn more about it for sure. And I didn't know what a loan officer was, what they did, how that's like played such an important role in the process. Because what happens a lot is like, we're in the shadows of a real estate transaction, right? Like, you look at the realtor, you watch $1 Million Listings, you see Ryan Serhant showing all these people these houses, and you're like, oh, this is really cool. Like, I want to do that. But on the back end, you have the title company, you have the insurance, the homeowners insurance people, you have the lenders. And it's like, they're doing a lot of this stuff. Whereas, you can show somebody 20 homes. You're out there forever with them. And then as soon as you get a house under contract, it's like you hand this deal off and you're like, I really hope to God this person knows what they're doing on the other end, because you're leaning on them so much to get this deal closed. And it's like, that's where we kind of stand out with the whole, I think the beginning process to the end is we make sure everybody's vetted properly. We make sure we collect documents up front. We make sure that they're a well-qualified person, because we know when you get a house under contract, like, you're relying on us to get your commission too. So it's like, we want to make sure we don't want to jeopardize them selling their home, your commission, our commission, like all that stuff. So we take it very seriously. I don't know what you want to say about that.
I think just quite simply, I just think that we care a lot. Like, it doesn't take, I shouldn't say it doesn't take much to get licensed. Like, you got to go through X amount of hours of the initial test and continuing education every year and all that stuff. So, I mean, you can't just go out and get your license easily, but you can't teach caring about people. You know what I mean? Like, there's a people business. Like, people are going to be homeless if you don't do your job. And sometimes. So just having that empathy and having that, relatability to the people that you work with, and just like accountability. Like, if you hand me a deal and I mess it up, like, not only are you not going to give me a deal anymore, but like, I made you look bad and that's going to make me feel bad. Like, like just having the, thinking down the line of how me not doing my job is going to affect 10 other people around me. So, I mean, you can't teach people to care. And that's what I always say. It's like, I really do care. And that came from Tom, not you, Tom, but Tom Howell, the owner of our company. And really before him, Bob, who started this company, like from the top down, from day one. It was service first. It wasn't bottom line.
Yeah, I can also tell that you guys just have systems in place too.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, at the end of the day, it's a buyer's choice who they use as their lender. So, I always try to recommend you guys, but every once in a while, my clients have their own, family, friends that are lenders. And like, it seems like I'm reminding them about dates they got to hit, and I'm chasing them down. And it's just soon as my clients are working with Marathon Mortgage, like, days before any deadline, I'm getting updates. And it's
I kind of say, like, you guys hand the deal off to us, not thinking, like, I'm so used to a realtor handing the deal off to us, and I'm like texting them, hey, we got this done, this is moving along, this is happening, X, Y, and Z is good to go. But a lot of lenders aren't like that. So a lot of realtors are still very involved in that whole process throughout it. I'm sure you've realized that or ran into that issue where you're like reminding people of the dates they have to hit, and hey, what's going on with this, or where are we at with the appraisal, and all that stuff. So it's wild to think that that's a normal thing other places, I guess.
Yeah, that's why, like, whenever I have a settlement, and like, I'm always tagging Marathon Mortgage in all my settlement posts, and I'm thanking you guys for getting us to settlement, because people don't realize, like, you guys are behind the scenes getting us to settlement.
Yeah, sure.
So.
No, but it's very apparent with certain realtors that don't deal with us maybe often. They're the ones who are like checking. We're like, hey, we got it.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like annoying to us, because we're like, not that it's annoying. We're always happy to like communicate with people. Sure. We're like, hey, we got this. You don't need to be checking up every day. We're on top, but they probably work with other people who don't do their job as well. Yeah. We're really good about that.
Yeah. I always set like reminders on my calendar, like, all right, well, like, obviously, like, you should, like, all right, this is the mortgage commitment date. This is when I'll check in. A couple days before, I've never had to check in with you guys. It's always, there's that email.
And I think the other thing too is, like, you've done it here, and a lot of realtors we work with often do this, where if they call and Tom's out doing something, Rory's going to pick the phone up and take care of your client and take care of what you need done, or I'm going to pick the phone up and like follow up and do what you need done. We're not just going to be like, oh, well, Tom's out for the day, like, he'll call you tomorrow, or maybe he'll get to your clients, like, and just leave it that way. No, we're like, everybody here helps each other out, which I think makes it, operate as smoothly as it does.
Oh, absolutely.
And treats them like as if like they're our clients. So when your clients come in and you're referring them to Tom, and Tom's not there for whatever reason, and they come to us, we don't get paid on that. Not, the trickle down from him being the owner probably does, but that's not why we treat them like our clients, is because we know how important relationships are, especially in this market. Like, if Tom can't get to him for a day, which is rare, but like, guess what? That offer's not going to get in, and like, you're not going to get that house. And
we
then you're going to be
have 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And that happens all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's crazy.
But I think we're a little old school too. Like, for having a podcast and like trying to do all the social media stuff, like, our roots are in old school doing business the right way. So like, there's a lot of lenders now who will say, oh yes, what's your email? I'll send you a loan application online. Whereas, which in certain times, like we have that ability. Sometimes that is appropriate. Sometimes you're working with someone who doesn't want to talk to you on the phone. They would prefer an online application. But we say it all the time. It's like having someone on the phone, being able to, that's where you start building your relationship with them, because you're talking with them, you're asking them the right questions, you're getting to know them. Oh, how many dependents do you have? Oh, cool. How old? Me too. Building that relationship that way. And then also the online app's just never as good as having a conversation. And it takes a little bit longer maybe, but guess what? If someone fills out an online application, it takes them 10 minutes and our conversation would have taken 15. I still have to follow up with that person to fine tune the details that they didn't know, or the way that they filled it out incorrectly, or they said that they make $100,000 a year when really they're self-employed and they write off 50 grand of that. So it's like, you're always following up and making sure that they've done it correctly. So yeah, just simple things like that. It's like an old school thing to take an application over the phone or in person, but I'd say 95% of the way we do applications is that way. Yeah. Whereas I'd say there's a lot of lenders that 95% of the way is online applications.
Sure.
So.
But I think you're kind of rooted in old school too, though. You come from your dad, who I met at the client appreciation. It was so funny meeting him and being like, oh wow, you've been doing this. You brought Tom into this and you've kind of showed him the ways. It's you're definitely mixed new school and old school too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know how to take care of the clients like your father did, but you also have that. You're always posting on social media after every settlement. You're doing that stuff. So do you think that helps with your clients, the mix of it, or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you gotta, like Rory was saying, you have to adjust to each client.
Sure.
Because I've had clients in the last couple weeks, one of them didn't have internet or the email or an email. So I had to adjust and print out every single form that is involved with it, go to her condo and fill out the paperwork. And then, there's certain people that do not want you to text at all. And, our generation, I don't know what you're TikToking, but, we want to text all the time.
Snapchatting someone a loan estimate.
Yeah, I have Snapchat. All right. TikTok, no. But, we always text, it's a thing. And I've realized, there's certain generations that don't want you to text, that the phone call is the right move with them. And I've learned, and actually my father did give me this advice, is that you should ask what kind of communication do you prefer, because you don't want to annoy your client by keep texting them. Same thing. You have a 21-year-old client and they're like, why are they calling my phone? I don't like talking on the phone.
Yeah.
So, I think it's important to mix, what you're saying, old school and new school.
For sure.
And just be adaptable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just had a client that I settled on maybe a month ago now, and they were very old school clients. They didn't really have, I don't even think they had a computer, and they would just be like, hey, can I come into your office at 6:30? And I'm like, yeah, I'll just wait here for you guys. Come with your paperwork and I'll do photo. And they would just come to the office at 6, 7 o'clock at night, and we'd work that way. Hey, it is what it is. You get it done. So
absolutely. You just got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do in this business.
There's certain parts of this industry, both ours and yours, that no matter how old school it is, it's always going to be an important part of it. And that customer service and attention to detail, and that stuff's not going to get replaced by TikTok.
Exactly. No. Artificial intelligence, all that. No, it's about customer service, communication, and that's what it's all about, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, man. If you saw the update that came out yesterday, I'd be pretty scared, to be honest with you. This shit's scary as hell.
About TikTok?
AI.
Oh yeah.
AI. Dude,
I don't even want to know.
There was a giant update that came out yesterday, and you just have to watch the videos. I have to send you a video on it. It's crazy.
I want to know, but I want no part of AI.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They try to teach us oh no, you can use it for this. I'm like, no, that thing's taking my job.
Yeah.
I don't want to use it for literally anything.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And you 100%. Can tell when somebody's sending you messages using something like that. It's not them. You know,
you're this isn't how Tom talks.
Yeah,
What's going on here?
That all that was spelled correctly.
Yeah.
That was capitalized.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I think old school and new school is fine, but then there's limits.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you just got to be adaptable, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What AI is going to drink a beer with you, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. They can edit it and clip it out, but they can't do it.
They can do that.
I am not coming on a podcast with robot mortgage Mike.
Sorry for the break there. Tom punched me in the face, and then I had to cut it. So.
I had to make sure he wasn't a robot. It's the only way you can tell.
He's got real feelings.
Yes.
But no, we were talking about AI, old school, new school, how it all mixes together, and that's what kind of makes us good at what we do, really, and it helps us do what needs to be done for our clients, really. And it's like it's a very important thing that I think we were just talking about. You don't see a lot of young people doing this business, like getting into this. And what did you do before this? Actually, maybe we touched on this.
I think we talked about it a little bit, but
reiterate. So okay, I was living in Key West for some years. So when I was originally early on living there, I was doing interesting jobs like jet skis and scuba diving. But then I actually got into timeshare. And,
yeah.
We talked about this, and
that's right.
It was a very lucrative, good business, but it was not for me.
Yeah, it wasn't as fulfilling as you would have hoped.
Yeah, a lot of negative stuff about it, which, if you do it honestly and good, like you're not part of the problem, but it's just
it's not like reverse mortgages in our industry. It's like if there are a need for them in some situations, but the predatory people who just give them to any old person, it's like, that's why it's a bad name.
Exactly. Like I don't like the whole, people are stuck in sales meeting for 3 hours. They don't even know what they agreed to. Like there's certain people that own timeshares that absolutely love them. And then you just meet people that are just like, I bought this, I regret it so bad.